2,300 Disney employees have sent a petition to CEO Bob Iger pushing back on his demand that they return to the office 4 days a week instead of working from home. Amazon telling its staff they need to be fully back in the office by May. And there's a bill moving through the Kentucky legislature that would ban remote work for state employees, but that again flies in the face of what workers say that they need. Kimberly Steiner Murphy live with me now. She's a senior regional vice president for the talent solutions and business consulting firm Robert Half. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
So what goes through your mind at this point, almost 3 years since the start of the American COVID outbreak that forced remote work? What goes through your mind when you hear huge companies like Disney and then also state legislatures forcing patterns in the opposite direction?
I think it's very interesting because, when you look at, we have 2 jobs for every person right now. And if you're not going to be flexible, especially as an employer, I think you're going to run the risk of losing top talent. People have had choices for many years now. We're talking 3 years almost. And if a company is unwilling to be flexible, I really do think you could lose them this year.
Money usually factors pretty high into what someone would describe as their dream job, but Robert Half just surveyed 1,000 workers, and overall job stability was the #1 ingredient in that, and then not salary.
Yeah, it's interesting. So in this survey that we did, we found that job stability was the #1. And I think that's typical when you look at where we are with the economy. But I also think right below it was salary. And, when you're looking at inflation and you're looking at higher interest rates, that's something that's going to trickle down. Whether it trickles down tomorrow or 3 or 4 months from now, I think it will also be up there with job stability.
Interestingly, mid-age workers, those 26 to 41 years old, and the oldest employees you talk to, those 57 plus, those 2 age groups shared what has folks at Disney and Amazon pushing back. These are folks in the most kind of intense child-rearing years and those nearing retirement. What do they have so much in common that they're all about flexibility?
Well, I think if you think about really what's happening in that age group, you've got parents, you've got people that have been able to pick up their children at 3 p.m., continue to have a work-life balance. You've got people that are, heading towards that retirement age that have really enjoyed the flexibility. And I think retaining those folks is going to be critical, especially if, employers are asking them to come back in 5 days a week.
Positive work relationships ranked high in your survey across all groups, 3rd biggest factor overall. Does that play in the boss's favor, those who say their employees need to be physically in the office so those relationships can be developed? I mean, there's an argument that Zoom kind of doesn't get that done.
Well, I think there's kind of a dichotomy with that, right? Employees want flexibility and the ability to work from home and when and where they want to work. But you're seeing employers saying, hey, we want you back in the office. We want to develop relationships. We want to make sure that, we have, the camaraderie that we had pre-pandemic. But I think it's going to be a push and a pull. And, that is one of the things that's also important to employees. They want to have an authentic relationship at work. And so, how do you get that done hybrid? How do you get that done remote? Or do you demand people that go in and then risk losing folks?
Seems to me like you've been talking about the people that have, been able to enjoy this flexibility and that they may leave. If you're looking to build that work relationship, maybe you let people work remotely and you have, quarterly retreats. Is that something that you see people trying to do to sort of maintain that camaraderie in a different way? Maybe people have been hired that you've never even gotten to meet in person, and then that would be a way for that to happen, but people can still on a day-to-day basis, for the most part, maintain the schedule that they want working at home.
Yeah, it's interesting. I do think that, if you have a hybrid environment or a remote environment, that you have to figure out ways to connect. And so is that, they come into the office, but it's purposeful, right? There's a reason to come in. We're having some type of a team building, or we're having a meeting where we want everyone's impact. To your point, could it be some type of a retreat? Because coming in for no apparent reason may seem, just not productive to a lot of folks. But if you're coming in and you're feeling good, you're feeling like you're accomplishing something, I think that's a different story. And you win both ways, both on the employee side and on the employer side.
And just quickly, we're almost out of time. Does this remote or on-site struggle, you think, get solved this year, or are we just going to continue to see this fight happening?
I think we're going to continue to see the fight happening. I also think there's going to be more conservative companies. There's going to be companies that cannot do remote. And I think that many people will try to find the right place. I think we'll still have a lot of, maybe movement in the job market and people trying to find the home that fits best for them.
Definitely, for sure, we're not going all the way back to the way it used to be. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.